country that have got an unbroken link with stock car racing in this country, and appearing on the track tonight, it's the Formula One stock cars, known as the kings of the oval track, with their links going right back to the early days in the 50s, and the nation's top drivers here at Belle Vue tonight chasing the Belle Vue Bowl. There are also a couple of extra events to come later in the programme, a Powder Puff Derby when the wives, girlfriends and mothers of the drivers get a chance to go out on the track and show what they can do. But we start off with the opening heat of the evening, 3 qualifying heats, and the drivers trying to qualify for a place in the evening's grand final. That's the start marshal, Brian Beats, just sending them off on the rolling lap. And the white tops, the low point scorers, have just rolled past him as they move off onto the rolling lap. They've got 16 racing laps to come. And as you can see, there's a gap between the various grades. The whites are the first, the low point scorers, then the yellows. And that's one of the tyre guards that the drivers use. That's in the hope of preventing punctures when they get clouted by the hefty bumpers going around the corners. And those are the yellow tops, the B-grade drivers. That's one of the star-grade drivers, Dave Mellor from Ashbourne in Derbyshire, just putting his thumb up to some of his fans in the stand. And as one of the star men, he's starting down at the back of the grid with a lot of cars in front of him to get through, when the starter is satisfied that all is okay and gives them the green flag. The amber flashing lights, you can see, indicate that the drivers must proceed with caution, and when the starter drops the green, then those amber lights will change to green also. There at the back of the grid is 53, John Lund. John from Clitheroe in Lancashire, second in the National Points Championship at the moment, and some more of the star men there. John Thorpe in 433, Mike Close alongside him in 199, and those are the lead cars, the white top cars down at the front of the grid. Paul Hammond in 308, and alongside him the number 21 car of Dave Thomas. So as they move around that pits bend, they're coming under starters' orders now. And that's the green flag waving. Mr. Starter satisfied, and he sends them away into the opening lap. Fair amount of water down on the track to keep the dust down during the course of the evening. And there they are, moving away around the first bend. The early sort out going on, the star men getting away now. And as they go away around that bend and into the back straights, those are the men with all the work to do. And those are the lead cars coming through from the pit bend, and it looks like Paul Hammond in the lead in 308 as they go down that home straight, down into the turn. And that's the following bunch coming through, the yellow top drivers, and already some of the star men going through. Mike Close having a good drive in 199. He's chasing through after the early leaders. Sliding around the bend, getting the grip where possible. The cars coming through from that bend. Someone just leaning on the curb there, trying to find an extra bit of grip. And the opening race of the evening, car's going to find it a little sticky. There's 103 in trouble and shunted out onto the middle where he's running along there. That's Roger Mitchell. Now, will he try to rejoin? And there's Mike Close, 199, pushing through past Des Chandler in 213. And that looks like Rod Faulding behind him in 36, but Close has got through that okay. There's Faulding following him through, and Des Chandler drops a couple of places there in 213. There's Close again, Faulding in there with him in 36. And those two chasing up, trying to get into the places. And that's the lead car, 308, Paul Hammond in the lead. And in second place, it's the lady driver, Jane Bean, in 309. That's Hammond, the leader. Just looking back behind him there, that's Phil Hagan, 454, who just mounted the curb for a moment there. On a tangle there, and Des Chandler in 213. He's tangled out and looks as though he's restarting. The sparks from underneath as the engine fires up again. And Chandler off again, trying to make up the ground he's lost. There's Hammond going through in 308, and Mike Close, the starman we saw earlier in 199, seems to be up in second place now, chasing after the leader, and he's not too far behind him. And there's Close, the third of those cars. That's the leader going through. And then we've got a back marker in between them. Hammond with the white roof, 308. And there's Close in second place in 199 on the curb there. chasing hard after the leader, and there they are, first and second. Hammond in 308 and Close in 199. And it looks as though Hammond's gone wide round some parked cars down on that bend, and Close could have taken the lead there. He has indeed. So Mike Close goes into the lead in 1.99. There's Close the leader, 1.99. And we look back behind him, and it's Hammond in second place in 3.08, and then Rod Faulding in 36. And a tangle down there as Mike Close goes past them. Goes through down that straight. That's the back marker just in front of the leader now. That's Chandler, who we saw spin out earlier on in the 213 car. Oh, and there's a tangle down there. That looks like the Pitts Bend where they've tangled out. And the leader, Mike Close, goes through it. Round the bend, he drifts his car back into the home straight. Down that straight he goes. And there's trouble for Simon Sargent in 4.98. But he's been on the infield and now rejoined the race. Back onto the track he goes. And that's the leader, Mike Close. Back marker in front of him, Rob Cowley, car number 73. Close just nudging through on the inside, one wheel on the curb just to find a bit of extra grip around the bend. Oh, and that was Cowley clobbering the fence there in 73. So Close the leader then, 1.99. He's a long way clear of the field. We're entering the closing stages because the start marshal is about to tell them that they've got 5 laps to run. And Mike Close a long way clear of them. That's the battle for second place. 36 Rod Faulding and 53 John London. The bumper went in there. He nudged Faulding aside. Faulding's fighting back. They're side by side as they go down that straight. But Lunder's got the drop on him now. London 53 goes into second place. So Faulding drops down to third in number 36. Those are the second and third going through. So that's London, that's Faulding 53 and 36, second and third. We're in the closing stages of the opening heat. And that looks like Mike Close coming through again. He's got 3 laps to run as he goes through that time. That was the starter he went past. He's down into the first and second bends. That's second place John London 53. And there's third place Rod Faulding in 36. That's the gap between second and third. There they are, that's the gap between them as they go down that back straight into the Pitts Bend. Just to the left is the entrance they come out from the pits as those two go round that bend into the home straight, and they're chasing after Mike Close. And there he is, Close, the race leader. He's going down into the Pitts Bend once again. So Close comes down the home straight, and he's going out onto his last lap now. He's in the lead, and there's second John London 53 chasing after him, and that's Close the leader out on his last lap, going into the back straight now. Down the Hyde Road straight he goes towards the Pitts Bend, and if he gets around that Pitts Bend safely, he'll get the checkered flag as the winner of Heat 1. No back markers around him, no traffic to deal with, and Mike Close comes down the home straight, and there's the starter giving him the checkered flag. Mike Close wins it. There's Rod Faulding across the line. In fact, John Lundin was second, and then Rod Faulding, who finished third. So Mike Close continues around his extra racing lap just to make sure the lap scorers have got his number down on the charts. And that was the second man, John Lund, car number 53. Placed second in the National Points Championship at the moment. And the starter puts the red flag out. The lap scorers satisfied they've got all the numbers down. And the 1, 2, 3 in Heat 1 then. First, Mike Close from Starbutton in Yorkshire, car 199. Second place went to John Lund in 53. And third was number 36, Rod Faulding. And there's the starter with the yellow flag hiding the green. And there is the green being waved. We're off into Heat 2. Another 16 laps. And through they go down the home straights. There go the yellow top cars, the blues surging through now. And the Starmen go down the home straight as well. That's the last of them to get away, and there's a tangle there on the home straight, and Willie Harrison's in trouble. The most popular driver, the veteran driver, number 2, Willie Harrison, right in trouble at the start of the race. And out he goes. And some trouble there with some of the low graders just sorting themselves out, fighting for the positions. And that's Ian Higgins motoring through the field in number 29. Back onto the home straight as the cars go through past that parked car of Willie Harrison's number 2. Through they go, down and around that bend. And there's young Paul Harrison in number 22, the son of Willie, whose car we've just seen parked up. Paul Harrison continues to motor around in the race. They're down on the pits bend and coming back through onto the home straight. Those are the star men. That was Dave Beresford and Nigel Hardy. So the race beginning to settle down and sort itself out. That's Pete Lancaster 312 and Ian Higgins 29. A couple of the blue tops who started 3/4 of the way down the grid, and they're trying to get through to the front before the star men arrive. Pushing and shoving going on down there as Higgins tries to push Lancaster out. They're on the Hyde Road bend into the back straight they go. And those two blues having a tremendous battle, and they're being joined by a star grade driver now, Beresford in 260. And that's further on down the field as some more star men go through, finicking with a flashing light on the top car, number 55, one of the superstars. The lead car is Stuart Gledhill in 387, one of the whites who started at the front. And these are the men who are chasing after him, trying to catch up with him, and that's Terry Jackson just pushed out towards the fence there in 485. And that is the lead car, that's Stuart Gledhill in 387. Gledhill comes through onto the home straight. Goes through in the lead position. That's 387, the lead car. There's 139, Stuart Smith, who's in second place. He's got a couple of back markers in front of him before he can catch with the leader. Bob Baker in 536, just feeling the bumper there of Stuart Smith's car. Not the Stuart Smith who's 4 times world champion. This is a younger version from Chesterfield, Derbyshire, but he's in second place. That's the man he's chasing, who's just gone out wide on that bend, 387 Gledhill. Just dicing with one of the blue top drivers there. Moving down towards that bend, that's 108 Steve Evans, who's just been passed by the lead car. Some more of the chasing cars come through there. Someone on the middle and in a spot of bother. It looks like Terry Jackson 485. That's Stuart Smith in 139. He's in second place. Going through down the home straight. And there's the leader battling with one of the back markers around that bend. Gledhill with the white car on the inside, and there's second, Stuart Smith. And that's first and second. Down the back straight they go. Gledhill in 387, Smith in 139, and they're fairly close together. And the start marshal going to tell them they've got 5 laps to run as they come through this time. And there's the bumper going in hard. Smith trying to push Gledhill out there. Gledhill goes out wide, Smith on the inside, and still the white top has the lead. Gledhill in 387. Smith pushes him again down hard down that back straight. And Gledhill's gone out wide this time. Has Smith found enough room to get through? No, he hasn't. And what a tremendous tussle those two are having. Shower of sparks there as they went through with 4 laps to run that time. And still Smith is working hard trying to get past Gledhill. And Smith's gone. He's gone to the fence up there on that bend, the Hyde Road bend, 139 Stuart Smith. So he got into trouble with the traffic around in the back markers, and that leaves Gledhill still in the lead in 387. Gledhill goes down the home straight there, past the parked cars, throwing his car down into that next bend. There's somebody else parked up and about to bail out of his car, the 235 car, the one in trouble. And that's the leader. It's still Gledhill in 387. He's resisted the challenges of young Stuart Smith in 139. They've got less than 2 laps to run now as they go down the home straight and into that bottom bend. And it looks as though it's starman Dave Beresford in 260 who's chasing Gledhill now, and he's not too far behind him. That's a back marker, 174, David Eccles in between first and second. And in fact, Eccles pushes Gledhill out wide there. They come back onto the home straight, and that's first and second going down the home straight together. They're out onto the last lap now, and Beresford looks as though he's taken the lead. Past the parking lot on the Hyde Road bend, into the Hyde Road straight, the back straight, and Beresford is the leader in 260. Down into the pits bend, back into the home straight, and it looks as though Beresford is going to take the checkered flag. Over the line he goes. Beresford wins it in 260. Higgins went through then, and then Gledhill in 387. And it looked as though Ian Higgins just beat Gledhill for second place. A creditable performance by the white top. Nevertheless, Stuart Gledhill in 3.87 led till the very last lap. But that man, Dave Beresford, Red Roof star grade driver from Tintwistle in North Derbyshire, emerges as the winner of Heat 2. Second place went to Ian Higgins in 29. And the third place, the long-time leader, the white top, Stuart Gledhill in 3.87. And on we go with the third of the qualifying heats, and some more of the clean cars out of the pits, the cars that we haven't seen as yet this evening. And they're away onto the rolling lap. Some interest in this one. Those the low graders have just gone through. Mr. Starter just setting them rolling. And the interest centres around that car, number 33, Peter Faulding, who won the World Championship at Coventry in 1986. He's the Gold Roof with young fella who we saw his dad racing earlier in the evening, number 36, Rod Faulding. So that's the world champion, and he's moving off onto the rolling lap. Oh. And number 1, Stuart Smith, the deposed world champion. The first time that everyone has seen that car with the red roof for 3 or 4 years, because he's had the gold roof continually on that car as world champion, but he's out with a red roof tonight. He's just one of the nation's top 20, no longer the top man with the gold roof. He's made no secret of the fact that he's retiring from Formula 1 stock car racing at the end of this season, and he'll be anxious to win tonight's meeting final and also the Who Dares Win special race. All that's to come later, because the green flag is being waved and they're away into the third heat. There's the starter sending them away. The low graders go down into the first turn, led by 87, Neil Brigg, and there's someone shooting across the middle there, causing some of the photographers on the middle to run for safety. It's the 465 car of Mike Nuttall that caused the problems. And there at the back of the grid, Stuart Smith in number 1, and just in front of him is Frankie Wainman in 212, the national points champion. Somebody bouncing over the infield curve there, one of the blue tops. And the lead cars now moving around. They're low graders at the front. Those are the star men chasing them. That was Tapping in 412 and Smith in number 1. And that's the lead car coming through. And it's 429 who has the lead position. That's Phil Hare. That's second, Brian Branson in 254. They're going through. And in third place, it's Ian Wiley. And there's a spin out there as the star men go through. That's the 138 car that's turned around. 198 actually, Paul Truesdale, who spun out up there on that bend. He's setting off after them now, but the star men have gone past him. And the lead car's setting off. The star men chasing them hard after them. And that is the lead car. It's Philip Hare in 429. Just behind him there, second place, Brian Branson in 254. That's first and second on the Hyde Road bend. There's somebody in trouble. That's Mike Hayward, 424. But he's found a gear and he's moving forward again now, chasing after them. That's first and second going down into the pits bend. White top leader, that's Phil Hare in 429. Close behind him, Brian Branson in 254. Now Branson taking the inside line, trying to get past him on that bottom bend. Nice manoeuvre by Branson. Branson goes into the lead. Hare drops down to second place. And some of the big names aren't far behind them. And there's a nice manoeuvre by Hare. He's regained the lead off Branson. So Branson has got to work hard again. Gets his revenge and he comes back again. So what a ding-dong those two are having. There's third and fourth chasing them down the home straight. The top four together there. Third is No Smith in 51. And in fourth place, the leading star man, 85, Ray Tilsley. And that's the way they go down the back straight. And there's Wainman, the national champion in 212, trying to get up with the leaders. Another star man just behind him there, and that looks very much like Stuart Smith in number 1. It is indeed the ex-world champion and 13 times national points champion. They're having a tremendous battle as they go through the field, and they're not too far behind the leaders. In fact, they're moving up into the leading bunch now. And through the dust from the pits turn, they come down the home straight. And it's Branson in the lead in 254. In second place, it's Ray Tilsley, 85. And that's Stuart Smith lost a bit of ground there. Someone hits the fence in a shower of sparks. Number 13, Alan Wilson, that was, who clobbered the fence. And we're back with the Mike Hayward again in trouble in 4:24, and that's Branson just gone past him. Tilsley second, Mo Smith third, and Wayman fourth. And that was the top 4 cars going through. But into the second half of this third heat, that's Wayman in 2-1-2 with the silver roof, the national points champion, and he's in 4th place. And it's Branson in the lead in 2:54. That's the battle for 3rd place. Mo Smith 51 and Frankie Wayman 2-1-2. There's Wayman trying to get Smith out of his way. He'll be glad he's got rid of the other Smith, and they've now got 5 laps to run as they go down the home straight this time. So they're going into the closing stages. And that's Branson in 2nd place in 2:54, coming through onto the home straight. Branson, in fact, still in the lead in 2:54, going around that bottom turn, and with Mo Smith and Frankie Wayman chasing after him there. So can the low grader hold on? 2:54, Brian Branson holding on to the lead position, and 2-1-2, Frankie Wayman has now gone past Mo Smith, and Mo Smith has pulled up, it seems. That's 1st and 2nd, around that bend they go. Branson 2:54, Wayman in 2-1-2. They're going down that straight with Wayman going past Branson, and Wayman goes into the lead in 2-1-2. Coming down the home straight out of that pits bend, and they've got just 2 laps to run as they go through this time, and Stuart Smith's there with them in number 1, and so is the world champion Peter Faulding in 33. The top 4 together down the back straight. That's Smith in number 1, and it looks as though he's going through to be 2nd. That's the leader, Wayman in 2-1-2. There's Smith behind him in number 1, and world champion Faulding is 3rd. And they're going out the last lap, and it's now or never for Smith in 2nd place and Faulding 3rd as they chase after Wayman. That marker in between them as they go down the back straight, that's Truesdale. He pulls out wide, and he's not showing any particular courage there as those 3-star men come through. They're on the pits bend for the last time into the home straight, and Wayman is going to hold on, and Smith takes 2nd place. And who got 3rd there between Branson and world champion Peter Faulding? Very close as they cross the line, those two. But what a tremendous finish to the 3rd heat. The checkered flag is out. They're continuing for their extra racing lap. But Frankie Wayman, the national points champion, led home 13 times national points champion Stuart Smith in car number 1 there. And Peter Faulding in 3rd place in 33, chased to the line by the long-time leader Brian Branson, but Faulding held on. So that's the winner. Frankie Wayman, 2-1-2 from Silsden in West Yorkshire. 2nd place to number 1, Stuart Smith. And 3rd was the world champion, number 33, Peter Faulding. And confirmation has come through that Brian Branson did, in fact, pick Peter Faulding for 3rd place in the 3rd heat. That was the 2:54 car, so Peter Faulding finished 4th in that one, but he has still qualified for the final. And in this one, the car's just rolling down the home straight there. That's the blue tops. Places 21 to 50 in the national grading list, and the red tops are the nation's top 20. That's one of them, Ray Tilsley, 85, who was involved in Heat 3 for some way, but went out and finished in the minor places and didn't qualify. And there's Willie Harrison. We saw Willie bailing out of his car after he'd clobbered the fence near the start rostrum earlier in the evening, car number 2. There in front of Willie Harrison is Graham Blundell in 156. Another of the star men. He comes from Preston in Lancashire. And Dave Mellor in 304 alongside him. 1 or 2 of the cars haven't been cleaned by the mechanics, and there's the green flag. They're away into the race. And no doubt those cars that are still a bit dirty have had mechanical problems that the chaps have been working on, but the race is away, and there's a tangle there on the home straight as the lead cars go down into the first turn. Make their way down the back straight, the lead cars as the rest of the field come through. Well, there's a tangle. Stuart Smith 139, Wayne Handley 378. That's 2 of them involved, another one out there. And there goes the lead car. That's Simon Sargent in 498, who has the lead position as he goes down into the hydro bend. 183, Paul Marler is 2nd. And it's White Tops battling all the way, and a couple of them have tangled up there, losing their way and going out of the top places. And one of them column across the track. It's the 103 car of Paul Marler that spun out across the track, and there's another one, Tony Smith 195. He's just nudged onto the infield and parked up. Those are the chasers going through. That's Arthur Gibson in 357, one of the drivers who qualified for the World Final this year. Around the hydro turn go the cars into the back straight. They're the ones chasing after the leaders. And there is the lead car going through now. Down the home straight, Simon Sargent in 498 in the lead position. And looking back down track for the first of the star men to get through the field. And we've got a lot of blues and yellows there, and here come the star men moving down. And it's Graham Blunder 156 and Ray Tilsley 85 who are the leading star men. And they're going to have to work hard because there are a lot of cars between them and the leader. And they must be a good 3/4 of a lap down. And there's Tilsley 85 pushing Blundell out as they come through. And there we're looking back, and those are the lead cars. Those are the back markers, and here comes the leader, so you can see how much the red tops have got to do to get through to the leaders. Down the home straight they go. Down through to the hydro turn. One or two back markers in front of the lead car as they make their way down the back straight, and Tilsley's in trouble. Ray Tilsley in 85 has gone out there. 3 or 4 blue tops in that tangle with him. And there are 6, 7 cars parked up on the pit fence, sorting themselves out to get running again and getting mixed in with the leaders now. So those drivers have got their work cut out because they've lost a lot of ground. There's a driver running for safety, looked like Wayne Handley. That looks like the lead car. It's 264 Peter Carter who has the lead position. Another white top. The second of those cars going through shot. That's the leader. 264 Peter Carter, the leader. In amongst some back markers there. Down the back straight he goes. Moving through onto that pit's turn. And that was Mo Smith shooting past him in car number 51. They go down that home straight. It's still Peter Carter in the lead in 264. Mo Smith has just gone past him, but he's a lap down and he's just tried to unlap himself. The Union Jack is out, so we're into the second half of this consolation. It's a very hectic one with cars parked up all around the circuit. 85 Ray Tilsley just behind the leader on track now. That's the flag that tells the drivers they've done 8 laps. They've still got 8 laps to do. And there's Carter, the leader, in 264. And in fact, he's just been passed by Arthur Gibson, 357. There's Gibson, the new leader. Oh, and he's all over the place there, and Carter has just regained the lead. So Carter goes back in front in 264. Gibson close behind him in 357. That's first and second. Past that parking lot on the pits bend they go. Motoring down the home straight, and Gibson obviously got a steering problem there. He's just clobbered the fence with no car in his way. Just went straight on coming out of that bend. Hand up to where the starter is at the top of the cab there, trying to get the engine restarted. But he's losing valuable ground, and it's beginning to look as though he won't qualify for the final. Some more of the cars trying to work their way up the places there. Mo Smith just going past the lady driver Jane Bean in 309, and the lead car has now got less than 5 laps to run, and it's still Peter Carter in 264. So that's Carter, the leader. And it looks as though it's Melt Nichol in second place in 322. So that's our lead car, and we'll look for Nichol coming through as Carter goes through. And there's Nichol, the blue top car that went through. Dave Mellor motoring through as well in 304, and he's up chasing the lead cars. And it looks as though Mellor might have gone into second place. There's Mellor in 304. That's the leader going through. That's second, Dave Mellor in 304. They've got 3 laps to run as they go through the home straight this time. That's the leader, Carter in 264. Mellor close behind him now in second place in 304. And there's Nichol third in 322. That's the 1, 2, 3 going into the back straight. And there's a battle on for the lead now. The white top Carter under pressure from starman Dave Mellor in 304. Mellor trying to get through on the inside line then. It looks as though he's done it. So Mellor goes into the lead. And it was 2 laps to run that time as they went through, so Dave Miller has hit the front with just 2 laps to run, and he's the leading starman, and he's out front now in 3:04. There he is with some back markers around him, and that traffic still down on the pits bend. He's coming through to start his last lap as he goes past the starter now. Onto the last lap he goes. Dave Miller in 3:04. That's Mr. Starter showing them the way. Oh, and Miller was almost in trouble there, but he got past that back marker. Peter Carter, the white top, is still second in 2:64. And there's Miller going down around the pits bend, past the grandstands, on the last lap, into the home straight, and he's going to collect the checkered flag. Miller wins it in 3:04. Carter finishes second in 2:64. And it looked as though it was neutral in 3:22. We'll just check for the confirmation of that. But that's the race winner, Dave Miller in 3:04. A very hectic consolation event, but he's through to the final now. So some of the supporters in the crowd there, and I wonder who that little fella supports. The number 1 on his back, and that of course is Stuart Smith, the ex-world champion, number 1. And the cars are beginning to move now. There's Mr. Starter calling them forward. Away onto the slow, steady, rolling lap. And down amongst the white tops is 264, who we read as Peter Carter during the earlier qualifying heats. There he is on the second row of the whites there, just moving past Mr. Starter. And in fact, it's Alan Wayne who's driving that car. He's borrowed the car off Peter Carter for the evening, and by mistake left Peter Carter's name on. So that's Alan Wayne, in fact, in the 264 car, and did well, qualifying for the final at the first attempt with a place in the heat. They're off into the final. The 32 qualifiers get the green flag, and away they go. Thundering down the home straight into that opening bend, where such a lot of hopes can be dashed. The low graders fighting their way around that turn. The white tops and the yellow tops. And that's the lead car going down around the pits turn, coming back through into the home straight. It's Stuart Gledhill in 3:87. There's a tangle behind him there. 2:02, Richard Mason. Somebody's T-boned him, and Mason sideways on. It looks as though it could be Neil Picorni who's dived into the side bin number 74. It is indeed, and Picorni, chairman of the Drivers' Association, in fact, sets off after the rest of the field. The Starmen have gone through, and there they are, sorting it out down on the back straight. And through they go. It's Gledhill, the leader, and there's a tangle down there. Mo Smith has gone, and Ian Higgins with his psychedelic car's gone. Dave Miller, Starman, 3:04. Won a heat earlier tonight. He's in trouble out there. And that's Mike Close on the infield there in 199, rejoining the track. He's lost a bit of ground though. Some of the Starmen in front of him. And Nigel Hardy goes out there in 3:17. He's tangled out, and that's Phil Haig. He's gone out with 4:54. Haig's car looking much the worse for wear. He's been in a lot of tangles throughout the season, and that's the lead man. It's Des Chandler in 2:13 who has the lead position. Goes down the home straight. Chandler moves through, and there's a tangle down there. Picorni's gone to the fence in 74. 52 in behind him there, and Picorni has smashed part of the fence. Craig Howarth in 52, and there's another one gone in. That looks like Paul Hammond in 3:08. Oh, Wayman's in trouble, and the world champion, the two champions, world champion Gold Roof Folding, national champion Silver Roof Wayman, tangled out together on the pits bend. Oh, and then those two struggling down there on the pits bend, and the rest of the field thundering past them. And back around the track, and that's Des Chandler, the leader, in 2:13, past the Wayman Folding tangle. Goes down the home straight. Folding the leader in 2:13. Chandler, the leader, in 2:13. Still talking about Folding parked up on the pits bend, but it's Chandler, the leader. And there is Folding and Wayman, and they're trying to get out of that tangle, but they're losing countless laps while they're parked down there. Wayman is moving now. So he slowly moves down the home straight. In fact, he's pulling off to the infield. He's retired from the race, dragged himself and his car to safety, and we can go back to the race. It's 2:13, Des Chandler, the lead man. There he is, going down towards the first turn. Chandler in the lead in 2:13. And it looks as though it's Mark Armitage second in 2:52. And Mike Close moving through very nicely at 199. And there's Rob Lane, 57. He's been out. He's going to come back for some more. And there go the lead cars down the home straight, and Mike Close is right there with them in 199. It's Chandler the leader in 213. There's Close in 199, putting the pressure on Chandler. We saw Close win the opening heat of this meeting, and he's chasing through in second place. They go through down towards the High Road bend, and Mark Taylor in 490 seems to be there with them. And Chandler in trouble over there, and Mike Close has taken the lead. Whilst the less experienced drivers were sorting it out amongst themselves, Mike Close nipped through there in 199. We're at the halfway stage of this grand final now. 10 of the 20 laps have gone. And there's Mark Armitage 252 and Des Chandler 213, battling it out, but they've slipped down the placings now. So there's Chandler being hard at work, chasing after Armitage in 252. They're into the back straight, those lead cars. And that's the lead man coming through from the pits bend. Mike Close in 199, he's got Rob Holden close behind him. And looking back down the track, on the lap charts, it would appear that Mike Close is a lap down on the charts. So Mike Close, when he went past those cars, was not taking the lead. He's in fact just unlapped himself, and it's Mark Armitage who leads in 252. So that's the leader, Armitage. And Bert Finnegan in 55 motoring through there. Finnegan in second place. And Stuart Smith's up there with them in number 1. So in fact it is Armitage the leader as Finnegan goes out wide in number 55. Chandler there in 213 and Smith in number 1, and that looks like the top 4 together, and they've got 5 laps to run now, so we're going towards the closing stages. Smith in trouble there, he's tangled out with Mark Armitage. Across the middle he goes, rejoins in a cloud of dust onto the back straight, and John Lunt's with them in 53 now, and it looks as though Lunt could be in 3rd place. They stream down the home straight again, the lead cars. And that's some of the chasing cars. Beresford goes through in 260, and Paul Harrison in 22. And there's Stuart Smith in number 1. Oh, and there's one over. They're waving the yellows because there's a car gone over. In fact, they're holding on to the yellows, but that car that's gone over looked as though it was Alan Wayne, 264, right in front of the leaders. He went over. Parked up on its side, Ian Higgins protecting him. Beautiful bit of sportsmanship by Ian Higgins there, protecting the driver in his cab from the oncoming traffic. And there's Finnegan in 55, and he appears to be the race leader with Stuart Smith second in number 1. And Smith's not too far behind Finnegan. There's Finnegan coming round the pits bend into the home straight, and there's Smith with the red roof in second place in number 1. And that's the distance between him and the leader, and they're on to the last lap. They're going out on the last lap, and Finnegan has the lead. There's Chandler and Beresford battling for the minor place, but that's the leader, Bert Finnegan in 55. He's clear from number 1 to Stuart Smith, and he's going down around the pits bend for the last time. Into the home straight, and Bert Finnegan wins the Belle Vue goal in number 55. Stuart Smith crosses the line in second place in number 1. And it looked as though it was 213. There's Chandler who came home in 3rd place. So the Grand National Championship heat, the traditional last race of the meeting, where the drivers score points for the end of season Grand National Championship, except tonight it's not the last race of the meeting. A couple of extra races to come, but this is open to any of the cars here tonight. Cars fit to run, the drivers fit to race, and it's quite a full field with a lot of low graders. Those are the start cars, and somebody in trouble right at the start. Paul Truesdale 198, his car rolled off onto the middle, so he's got a problem which may prevent him taking part in the race. The star grade drivers rolling down the home straights. Coming under starters' orders. there goes the green flag. So the race gets underway. And that's the size of those Formula One stock cars heading for the Hydro Bend on the opening lap. Someone in trouble broadside across the track. That's going to cause problems. 3 cars involved. 21 was the cause of the trouble. And more problems there. A couple of Starmen involved. 317, Nigel Hardy has gone. In fact, it's not a Starman, the other one, it's Bob Baker, but there's Nigel Hardy. He's got to get cracking and get after them now. And that looks like the lead car going down into the pits bend, Paul Marler. So he goes down the home straight in the lead. And it's 183, Paul Marler, who has the lead position. There go the rest of them chasing through the blues and the reds, and it looks as though it's Marler in the lead in 183 with McCorney second in 74. That's second place, Neil McCorney in 74. And a tangle developing down on the pits bend there. 1 or 2 cars in trouble. Someone getting clobbered, the fence, and it's Willie Harrison number 2 and Graham Blunder 156. They've gone out, and I think that's Ross Humphrey 113 who's closest to camera. The dust rising as the cars thunder away down the home straight. Lead car Neil Picorni number 74. There he goes down towards the Hydro Bend in the lead position. 74 yellow top driver Neil Picorni. Paul Harrison in second place in 22 and Mike Close third in 199. And that's the order, and that's second and third. That's the gap between them as they go down the back straight into the pits bend. And Frankie Wayman up into fourth place in 212. There he is just behind second and third. Wayman goes through. And then the rest of them come through. And still those 2 drivers in their cars. That's the leader, Picorni, 74. He's going down into the pits bend now. That marker in front of him goes out wide past the parked cars. Second and third go through, and then fourth. That's Wayman fourth in 212. And that's the leader, and there's the second place driver going through on the inside there, 22, Paul Harrison. Mike Close is third in 199, and Frankie Wayman fourth in 212. And Close has gone up into second place now in 199. And that's first and second. Picorni 74, Close 199. The Union Jack is being waved at them. That's the signal that they're into the second half. And Close has taken the lead from Picorni, but Picorni's diving through on the inside, trying to regain that lead on the back straight. And Close finds the extra acceleration and moves away from Picorni. So it's Neil Picorni down to second place now because Mike Close is the leader, and someone's spun out down there. Pete Lancaster 312. And there's Wayman coming through. His front bumper working hard there on the back end of Neil Picorni's car. And Wayman goes up to be second in 212. So it's Close the leader at 199. There they are, first and second, Mike Close and Frankie Wayman. Down the home straight they go. And Mr. Starter is telling them that they've now got less than 5 laps to run. Now Mike Close has got to work hard because he knows he must be able to see in his rear view mirror that Frankie Wayman's right there with him in 212. There they are, first and second. Around the pits bend they sweep, back into the home straight. And as they go through, there's the leader, Mike Close. There's Frankie Wayman second. And they've got less than 4 laps to run now. Into the back straight they go. So Close the leader, and is Wayman getting closer? They come back off that bend again. And it looks as though Wayman is closing that gap. But he's only got 3 laps to run now. And Dave Beresford is in third place in 260. And there he is coming down into that bend. So it's Starmen first, second and third, with Paul Harrison down in fourth place in 22. That's third and fourth, and there they are. And that's Close and Wayman, the top 2, coming down the home straight again. 2 laps they've got left to run. And Mike Close has got to get through those back markers, and Wayman's right behind him. Close laps Jane Bean in the 309 car. Can Wayman get past her? He can't before they get into that bend. So there are 2 back markers between first and second now. There's the leader, Close. Wayman trying to get past those back markers and renew his challenge, but they're out on the last lap and time is running out for Frankie Wayman. Mike Close goes down the back straight in 199 for the last time, past another back marker. Wayman chases him, but Wayman's not close enough to get the bumper in on that last bend, and it looks as though Close is going to hold on as they come back to the home straight. Down the straight they go, and Close wins it with Wayman finishing second. Dave Beresford comes home in third place. Paul Harrison finishes fourth. Behind Paul Harrison, it looks like John Run next in 53. So it was Starman all the way in the top places. Neil Picorni had a good finish in number 74 after leading for some of the way. But there's the checkered flag. As the drivers slow down, the red flag goes out. The end of the race. And the driver there, Mike Close, in 199, holding on to the end despite the challenge of Frankie Wayman in the closing stages. It was Mike Close who won. He won Heat 1 tonight, and he's won the Grand National Heat as well. Second place went to Frankie Wayman in 212, and in third place it was 260 Dave Beresford. And there's at the front of the grid for what is something of an out-of-the-ordinary event, because this is the 1986 Powder Puff Derby. 4-5 cars stalled up around the track. There's a couple of them who didn't quite get away. There's a couple tangling up on the home straight there, and my goodness me, there's a chicane already for the lady drivers to cope with. Oh, we've got one on fire on the home straight. It's a flash fire underneath the oil drip tray, but one of the track staff coming out to deal with that. They've just been allowed to start whatever they could get on the grid. No grading for the ladies, with no previous form to go on. And that's 174 in the lead, and I thought we were going to see a bit of bumper work from the lady there. There's a lady with a problem or two. It's the number 87 car. That's Neil Briggs' car. But as we did indicate at the start of the race, that's a difficult job to do, and there's three stuck together. And that's Phil Haig's lady. There's Phil with the glasses helping Jenny over the fence. Her race is run and she's climbed out to safety, and Phil and Jenny together looking at the damage to Phil's car. She didn't get too far. Phil's made quite a name for himself this season. Of Derby ends. But that's the last lap board going out, and it's 174, still in the lead position, I believe. And I'm sure the crew of the David Eccles car will be delighted. And there she goes. She takes the checkered flag. Rolling for the last event of the evening, the 1000, and the title of the race indicates that the winner receives £1,000. The rest of them receive nothing. The grid has been closed up. They're all virtually bumper to bumper, and it's open to any of the drivers whose cars are still racing. It's known as stock car racing's fastest, most grueling race, because more or less anything goes, and £1,000 to the winner. A lot at stake. Those are the star men at the back. They are in their normal grade positions, but without the gaps between the grades. And it's only over 10 laps, and those are the low graders are hoping to get away and hoping that the star men tangle out. Mark Armitage in 252. Behind him, Jane Bean in 309. And then we've got Terry Jackson on the outside on the second row there in 485. Then come the first of the blues. That's Wolf Warnes in 91 and Paul Harrison in 22. Past the tractors on the infield as they roll down the back straight. So no white tops in this one. The lowest grade is yellows. It is open to the whites, but obviously they've had a hectic evening, and none of them have got a car that's capable of taking part in this grueling race. Just 10 laps. It's going to be a fast one, and there's £1,000 going to the winner of it. And that's the green flag, so the 1,000 is underway. And those fast starters will hope to get away before the starmen catch them. Round the first turn they go, into the back straight. Mark Armitage leads them in 252 with Lancaster alongside him in 312. Round the pits bend they come, and there's a tangle behind them. And that tangle sorts itself out. Looks as though they're all safely round the first lap, and the lead cars beat Lancaster 312, but Mark Armitage in 252. Into the fence, bouncing the fence there was Rob Lane, 57. He's lost a bit of ground, and Jane Bean, 309 in the fence there. Near the starter's Ross. Starter assisting her out of the car. There's Jane, safely over the fence. The car almost through the fence. And that's the lead car, and Mark Taylor's gone in 490. Taylor on the middle and out of the running. And another couple of cars tangled out there and almost took the trophy table with them. Those are the leaders, 312 Lancaster. Those are the two who almost got the trophy table. Rob Lane and Mo Smith, 57 and 51. They're going back on track. Their hopes are going, and Armitage has spun. He was in second place. And it looked as though somebody popped a tyre in that tangle down there. There's Stuart Smith, number 1. And he's well in touch, and indeed it was Armitage who popped a tyre in 252. So he's out of the running. And it's Lancaster the leader in 312, and that's John Lund in second place in 53. And they're coming through on the home straight. There they go. Lancaster in 312 from London in 53, and Mike Close in 199. Rob Lane's there with them in 57, but he's a lap down on the charts, and Lancaster goes out wide. Close goes through, and look at the bumper going in as Lund shoves Close out right by the fence. Lund drives through on the inside there, and Lancaster's back with them in 312. Thundering down the home straight, and it's Lund the leader now from Lancaster and Close. Round that bend, and there's Smith, and Lancaster's gone out of it now, and it's Smith who's up into third. Lancaster is down to fourth, but it's Lund the leader, 53. Being chased, coming through onto the home straight there by Mike Close in 199, and then Stuart Smith in number 1. And that's the way they go around that high road bend into the back straight. That's the 1, 2, 3. Lund the leader, Close second, and they've got into the closing stages with less than 3 laps to run. In fact, it's 3 to run next time round. And there they go, 3 laps to go. Lund the leader, Close second, and Smith well in touch with them in third place in number 1. Remember, the winner gets £1,000, the rest of them get nothing. And Close is lining John Lund up for a big bumper treatment there, but he didn't connect. So Lund still holds on to his lead. And there's Smith, he's in touch with them. Through they go. 2 laps to run. And the 1, 2, 3 together, Lund, Close and Smith. The crowd on their feet, urging their favourite driver on. The bumper goes in as Close pushes Lund out, and Smith lines up. He's nudged Close into the fence. He's hung Mike Close on a fence post. And now he's just got John Lund to catch. And they're on the last lap, and Smith has taken him, and Smith has put himself in the fence and left Lund clear. And John Lund goes down the back straight. And it was all or nothing for Stuart Smith. He's put himself in the fence, and John Lund is going to take the £1,000. There are the fans roaring their encouragement. The checkered flag goes out, and John Lund has taken it. And there's the Stuart Smith car in the fence. Stuart went into that bend far too fast, but it was a calculated gamble. He knew he'd got to get John Lund hard. He did, but not quite right, and it left Stuart himself in the fence, and John Lund the winner. And of course, Mike Close also went out in those closing stages. What a tremendous battle between those 3. The carrot was dangled, £1,000. Stuart Smith, he went out. And there's Mike Close. And Stuart Smith hung him on a fence post down on the pits bend just before the start of the last lap. So the crowd roaring their approval. There's John Lund climbing out of his car, the driver of number 53, winner of the 1,000. There's Stuart Smith, that's his young son Andy coming across to see him. Well, when you've been at it as long as Stuart Smith, sometimes you don't quite get it right. He didn't then, but Stuart will have a laugh and a drink in the bar with John Lund afterwards. And there are the crowd roaring their approval. So that's all we've got time for this week from Short Circuit Racing here at Belle Vue, Manchester. Join us again for more of the same next week. From me, Dave Edwards, good night to you.